Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Mid-Season Brawl. We have one more series left here to conclude day number 1. It's going to be a good one because it's going to be EU versus EU. We do like it here as we are coming to you live from Sweden, Stockholm. And it's going to be a good time. It's going to be a good time. We have, yeah, I'm getting a bit goofy at this point. It's been a long
Not
day.
Stockholm, Sweden, but Sweden, Stockholm.
Yeah, you know, whatever. We have J-How, we have Tetcher, we have Wolf, and together we are No. God, I'm a strange person.
You're losing it.
Yeah, I've gone. So, gentlemen, so far, you know, we had a very surprising series just before with Tempo Storm being able to basically crush and bop Ballistics, which I don't think anyone expected.
JL, don't pretend
sure?
like you expected it.
I did it. I've been saying this for like 5 weeks. It's not a surprise to
If
me.
you
No
say
one
NA is going
expected
to win
it.
every event and eventually NA wins, it doesn't mean you knew it all
Just
along.
like Evo, it's going to be Korea versus Korea final. Oh, when was the last time that happened?
Even a stopped clock is right twice per day.
Ooh, spicy. All right. But I think it is fair to say, Wolf, and you alluded to this before. Actually, you didn't allude to it. You just said it. Like, Ballistics underperformed.
Yeah, they really did. And, you know, you guys were talking about at the end of the segment, they just need to improve their hero pools. This is not a meta that suits them. They won Eastern Clash off of SC's Hanzo, basically, SD's Tychus throughout regular season, and that's no longer as relevant in today's meta. So they need to change. They need to improve. Magi's hero pool looks abysmal as well. His looks very weak on the Stukov. So
Right.
those are things we'd hope would improve during the downtime, but did not.
Yeah, Ballistics didn't adjust. Tempo did. J-How absolutely called it. That was a solid and convincing game, and Ballistics really do need to change something if they want to even make it out the groups.
Well, let's take a look at those groups, in fact.
Oh, yeah.
Because all important results are there for everybody's first series of the day, and it's very rare to see such results there for someone like Ballistics, who finds themselves in a 0-2 position at the start of their campaign there of Group A. Now we take a look at Group B, and we have a 2-0 against a 0-2 here, with Method going up against Team Dignitas.
I mean, it's also rare to see Dignitas starting off a group stage with a 0-2, and
Yeah.
that's what makes this series so important for them.
Didn't they start with like a 1-1 or like a 2-0 at 0-2 last year as well?
To be fair, they do usually start off slow-ish.
Yeah, that has been
So-
a consistent theme.
Yeah, there has been those moments.
I just know that Method has everything in their bag of tricks
Yeah.
to potentially 2-0 here. I would expect Dignitas to take this 2-0, if not 1-1, but Method is more than capable of doing this. And they've got somebody named Schrumpy on their team who literally can play anything.
Yep. And you can hashtag as well in the chat who you think is going to win this. Are we going to do the cool kids thing? Because all kids do this, right? They all go, when they say hashtag, they all do that, don't they? No?
I haven't seen it yet, but I usually don't hang out with the cool kids.
Right.
Hang
Well,
out with you guys.
I'm one of the cool kids, and that's what they do, right? They
I
go,
saw one from
hashtag.
a distance outside the studio, but that's the closest I've got. Didn't
Right.
see him do that. It was a very short period.
Okay, he had like ragged
What is it
clothes on.
again?
It was
Yeah.
crazy. Huh?
How is it?
Well, I'm not on camera now.
Well, you can show me
Is
off
that-
camera, but
Okay, they do this.
Yeah.
Hashtag. Like that.
what? I don't even know.
They don't do that. I'm making it
Get
up.
with the times,
I'm telling
Jal.
the
It's
fans.
not the pound button on the phone dialer. It's a hashtag.
Let's take a look at Dignitas, of course. Zalia, he's
He's like,
going to do
this
the
is what it
hashtag.
looks like right here. Yeah, when
Can
you
we
draw
talk
it just
about-
like that.
Can we talk about Zalia's performance against...
You want to talk about his hair?
Well, his hair looks fantastic, absolutely, but
Uh-huh.
beyond that, can we talk about his Malfurion performance against Tempest? It was fantastic. He looked really good, and part of the reason why that series ended up being really close, I think, was because of him. I think he was the strongest Dignitas player in that previous series today.
I don't know what they're measuring right now, but it must be something really important. There's a big debate going on as to how big something is.
So far, Snitch is the biggest.
He's like, nobody's a close second. Are
It's an intense debate.
It is an
We're
intense
curious.
debate, yeah. I wonder who's going to be next. Oh, what?
Oh, it's tall as well.
What does Polk think?
I think we're either talking about... well, I was going to say we're talking about shoe sizes, but I guess...
Water bottles.
I
They're
think
talking about
water
water
bottle
bottles.
sizes, maybe we're talking about pints, you know, versus gallons. I don't know.
right.
I think they're trying to like compare, like ask themselves how big is Murky.
Let me just tell you, Wubby's having none of this, all right?
Wubby
Wubby
does
is
not-
the voice of reason,
Yeah.
and he's having none of it.
Do you know that Wubby has been to every single grand finals for the last 3 major events?
Yes, I do. But I'm going to
That's
say,
so
no, I
intense.
don't. That's intriguing, J-House.
Tell
Tell
us
me more.
Think about the success that one individual player has had. Oh,
Oh. Well,
Okay, yeah.
I think they're discussing the distance of Genji's dash now that it was
Yeah,
like...
it will be after this.
These
one.
guys have ruined their entire segment. You know, they're making jokes, they're making memes, but we were trying to talk about their past history, talk about where they're at. Like, even though they're down 0-2, it was a really close series against Tempest. We're trying to give all these backstories, and they're doing this.
Well, I mean,
and you guys are laughing, and then I'm like, well, now we can't give you guys great backstories because you guys are doing this.
Let's be fair, though. This is the beauty of this tournament. We're going to get to see them plenty of times, so it's okay. And then they're just going to meme again, and it won't make a difference, to be honest with you.
I mean, I think we have to talk about Dignitas's great pedigree, their great history.
That's lovely, but we're going to talk about Method here as we move on forwards. Of course, no meme in here. It's serious modes for Nick, who can barely see which camera's looking at him right now. But that's all right.
For me, going into BlizzCon of last year, I would have put Nick probably in one of the top 5-ish of the ranged assassins.
Yes, yes.
He seems to have sacrificed a little bit of his hero pool when Schwempy came over, and so Nick has almost taken a little bit more of a backseat role with Schwempy being back there. But make no mistake about it, Nick is an incredible individual talent on this team full of talented players.
Let's talk about Kirsten's Kane. His Deckard Kane was phenomenal. He was able to set up a lot of stuff with his CC. His Stay a While and Listen combo that we saw with the Li Ming in the previous series was really cool as well. So him being able to pull that early new support out, I think, is a big thing that Dignitas now has to worry about.
Also, the return of his support Abatha was once again showing that they do in fact have these tricks. I'm pretty sure they are trying to measure the difference in skill between the two teams, and Schwempy is feeling confident.
That's absolutely right. I mean, I think it's a composition that Dignitas has to be careful of, right? When we saw that Deckard into blow-up style of the resets, I think it's very, very powerful and potent.
Okay, feeling stoic. He was for a second.
Arcana had some great Murden play.
Schwempy's doing it for him.
Arcana had some great Murden play in stopping rotations and allowing good retreats. And, you know, I was really impressed, honestly. Arcana is such a cool storyline for those who don't know. He's actually come to Europe from the ANZ region, as we call it. And you know, he's, all right.
Since last time he was here as well.
Can you guys just take this? Can we do this camera thing seriously for a second? Thank you, Tetra. Please continue.
It's the end of the day, all right?
Yeah, Arcana was here last year as well, but he was under the ANZ. He was under the ANZ team Nomia, but he moved to the EU region and has once again re-qualified under Method.
Right.
I think the segment was about this funny, but you guys kept laughing.
I was enjoying myself, I'll be honest. I know these people way too well, so there you go. That's how but how do these two teams match up? How do these two teams match up, realistically speaking?
Obviously, Dignitas come in as the big favorites. They're the team that everyone's talking about as the top team in Europe right now.
Yeah.
Method, on the other hand, is looking to be really creative. We already saw the Deckard Kane. We saw the solo support Valyria composition. So I feel like in terms of standard play in a straight-up matchup, everyone favors Dignitas, but it feels like Method's the X factor here.
Yeah.
For a long time, I used to say that Heroes Hearth in North America was one of the most exciting teams, the most entertaining teams because of their drafts, their play style. I think Method during the second half of part one, or during phase one, might have taken that title.
Maybe.
I mean, they literally will do and play anything in any form or fashion. It's an incredible team to watch.
It is historical matchups, though, can be important here. The last two times these teams met, Dignitas did win in 3-0s both times. If Method can win this one, then it is going to be a first.
Well, let's take a look at the maps, as we did have our bans roll in. And what are our picks going to be as well? It's BOE's gone, and we have Infernal gone, and we end up at
Dragonshire.
Got it.
All right.
Dignitas is incredible on this map. And it's when it's not Infernal, which is banned, Dragonshire is normally a backup of theirs, so no surprise that Dignitas is going here. And this is a map where we could see similarly a performance like Tempo Storm where they can control rotations just due to draft, and then whatever Method tries to bring out that might be a little bit more unique, they just kind of avoid it, control the rotations, and then get an occasional pick or two, and then somehow all of a sudden you're like, wait a minute, I'm 2 levels behind. That's what Dignitas is capable of here.
Dignitas has also had some incredible global play on this map. When you look back to BlizzCon last year, they had so many cool compositions with Morales, the Falstead they were running, just really understanding how to take this map and control it in different ways than you would approach in a standard draft. So I don't think that's what they're going to do here against Method. They know they're the favorites. I think they're going to play a more responsive drafting style here rather than try to lead the charge.
All right, let's get into it then. Game number 1 here between Team Dignitas and Method. The bans are using Maiev and Tracer as their yardsticks to measure from.
The one key number. Dignitas 9-0 on this Battleground in league play. However, for Method, they were 5-1. One of their most successful Battlegrounds. The only map that they seemingly did better was Kursal, but it was just 2-0. So definitely very, very good on this Battleground for both teams.
Good to see. This could be the chance they have. And if Method can take a single game or potentially 2 games off Dignitas, one of the favorites to make it out the group, the odds for Method making it out of this group are looking really, really positive.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it's really interesting to see the approach from Method going again towards that control of the macro. Both games they played earlier, they picked Dahaka as their solo laner. Prioritized heavily on Sky Temple. We already know why. They went for the triple global, but on their map of Towers of Doom, they controlled the macro there with the Dahaka as well. They found great success already against CE. They're going to stick with what's been working for them. It's that Dahaka. We know that Dignitas loves to use the macro style of globals to control this map. They've already taken the strongest global in this meta away. Really like this approach to the draft for them. Grabbing Deckard once more, and now Dignitas has to think about those combos.
I think one thing that scares me a little bit is I feel Genji might have been more of a denial from Method, although Genji is Snitch's most played hero at 11 games during league play. However, it's his least successful hero. It's not necessarily worked out in Dignitas' play style. And I think that's more than anything, and you can only ban one hero. Are you going to give Schwumpy Tracer? Are you going to give him Genji? And if you get the same type of combos we saw earlier, yes, it's a strong hero, and a lot of people still think he's top tier. But for Dignitas, it hasn't had the same results.
Well, I think it's fair to say as well, on the side of Method, this has to be a different brand of Deckard Cain, right? This is because Genji's already gone, because do you want to use like a Li Ming with it without a Genji for the full reset? What do you think?
It's concerning that they're running it into a Genji. Like you said, the Li Ming I really do like from Dignitas, because what if every team that we've asked said the weaknesses of Deckard Cain are burst? So if Dignitas can go for potentially some good hard engage, especially if they can remove some good burst protection like that Medivh, then I think they could be looking pretty good moving into this Method composition with Deckard Cain.
This Johanna ban is really interesting. I'm really leaning towards that Method may. I've seen this a lot on high-level solo queue, watching a lot of streams. I've seen it a lot in Europe, North America, and in Korea. There's a combo where you see the Hanzo come in with the Dragon's Arrow, and then right after the huge stun that comes from that, you see a follow-up sleep into a lot of different combos, taunt, for example, for Garrosh. That Johanna ban, I'm not going to say it necessarily means we're going down that direction, but you're avoiding blinds here. You've specifically zoned out this tank, and it's not Johanna's best map by any means. Maybe they're looking towards that Hanzo pick as a follow-up to make that Stay a While Listen a little bit more effective.
Now for me, it's do you get a Muradin or do you get a Diablo? We saw an incredible Diablo play earlier. Would you get the Muradin? And this is a composition, I remember seeing Dignitas run this before on Tomb of the Spider Queen. They run it on this Battleground. Chromie is forced to use most of her abilities on wave clear, and you occasionally try and get the setup, right? So your wave clear is going to be lacking. That's why Johanna can sometimes be that, all right, well, look, we don't have a lot of wave clear. We can go into Johanna. Now this is a little bit troublesome for me, because now Chromie's value, you have to land all your skill shots, but you also have to use your W on wave clear, and Genji's going to be looking for picks. It's almost impossible now for him to really gank that top lane, especially against a Dahaka. So I'm a little bit worried for Dignitas' draft.
We've seen this exact duo of assassins in a couple of regions, but actually a significant amount more in China, where it has had a very mixed success. It has a lot relied on what warrior you do put in front of it. If Muradin can land those Stormbots for the setup, as you were alluding to, it can work out. A lot of teams have tried running it with Johanna, which is why that Johanna ban is a pretty solid idea from Method here, but they do still need some burst protection or some assassins who could find a way out. Li Ming teleport, Falstad rolls, those are both potential options to protect yourself against Chromie, especially if Li Ming goes Force Armor.
I like the Falstad pick for, again, controlling the global style of play that Method has used throughout today's matches. And, you know, they've had 2 matches, both of these teams, and so it's a bit fatiguing, it's a bit tiring. Sometimes it's difficult to adapt and change your style on the fly in one day of tournament play in a round-robin stage like this. So they're sticking with what's worked, controlling the macro, out-rotating their opponents. Sure, they're playing Dignitas' game against the macro team that Dignitas is, but you know, they didn't take the risk going for a big combo, for example, with the Hanzo, like I was talking about. They're going for Li Ming has that reset potential. They've got Falstad for setups. You can gust people into a choke where they can get then slept again. So there's a lot of ways you can use this, not just for the global, but for team fights as well.
Is Blaze the way here?
Blaze, if not, you'll see a surprise Zeratul, which means they're all in on diving someone on the back line. But Blaze or Sonya, I think, for more team fight potential.
I'm digging Sonya. Even potentially Malthael could be okay. But it is going to be that Zeratul for that engage.
I'm like, man, that timer's about to run out, and I want to throw that bad boy in there because I just know, I think they're going to need more team fight potential. Wubby will occasionally bust out this hero, and Wubby, everything he touches turns to gold. And that is how good this player is. I mean, whether it's melee assassins or whether it's the offlane warrior, he's literally the best at his job, at whatever he does. But I feel this is a time they need him to step up to be the damage dealer, and Zeratul is a very risky pick. You need to be able to set up the combos. You need to have Chromie hit all of her skill shots. You have to have Zeratul. So they have the skill potential to do this, but it is a very high skill cap composition.
I mean, legend tells of again, admittedly, on different map, different time, but legend tells of a Zeratul of Wubby on Brax's holdout way back, if you recall that. And so he knows what he's doing with this hero. We're going to go for predictions, starting with you, Wolf.
Dignitas comes into this group in an 0-2 situation. They had a rough start today, and they're changing up their comp again. And so I think that I have to give the advantage to Method here. They're sticking with what's worked for them, what they've proven to be successful with already today, perhaps against obviously a weaker opponent in CE. But for a style it's proven, that style they've shown me, they can execute well, so I go with Method.
The biggest weakness of Deckard Cain is burst. I've got to go with Dignitas. I think they drafted around just the support in general and single target focused on it. I'm going to give it to him.
I cannot believe I'm going to say this because everything that I've believed in seems to be different. And Method, to me, I feel got the better draft. Dignitas went 9-0 on this battleground in league play in Europe. I think this might be the time where they lose to another European team on Dragonshire.
Right. And for me, there's one Brit on either side, and that's the only thing that matters for me. It's like, can I be neutral? Can I have like a Swiss flag?
Sort of Brit. Arcade is a sort of Brit?
Nah, that doesn't count. Can I have a Swiss flag? Is that possible? Oh, they've given me nothing. That can be the Swiss flag of neutral. I like that. So I'm going to go in nothing. Such a cop-out. All right, well, thank you very much, gentlemen. We're going to check in with the commentators after we see the very usual weird 80-20 split that we keep getting here from you in Twitch chat.
Believe in you. Help me out here. I need it.
At least, if anything, you guys conform to a usual standard deviation that's going on here. That's nice. Well done. Anyway, let's check in with the commentators as well for this final series of the day. Boys, ready to go?
Yeah, we definitely are ready. This is going to be a good one. Dignitas with the Zeratul right now. Should be fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we're going to see some more Deckard Cain gameplay, but also with the burst potential to try and exploit his weaknesses. So for me, I'm happy.
All right, boys. Well, have fun.
Well, we also get to see Muradin again, and this is actually a hero where Dignitas and JPL have an 8-1 track record. They're 9-0 on the map, so from a statistical point of view, this looks really good for them. But as we heard before, there's a lot of global tools on the side of their opponents, so Method is going to make sure that this is not going to be an easy win for Dignitas here.
Game number 1, the final one of the day, Dragonshire. It's an EU Fiesta. Dignitas up against Method, starting off here with JPL on his coveted Muradin, Poik on Chromie, Wubby playing Zeratul, Snitch on Genji, and finally Zalia playing Malfurion.
And over to the right side of the map in red, we have their opponents. We have Aethera Angel on the Haka on the offlane, Arcana once again on the main tank on Garrosh, Curson on Deckard Cain, Shrimpy on Li Ming, and Nick on Falstad.
Very excited to see how this one does pan out. Dignitas having a 6-0 track record during this first phase of the HGC in Europe up against Method. They've had some close games. The most recent one on this one, I believe, was, what, 36 minutes? It went a long distance. And once again, we are actually going to see the wingman coming out here for Falstad on Nick, looking to try and exert that split push pressure and also try and maybe counter what Wubby is looking to try and achieve.
There's an insane amount of kill pressure actually on Dignitas' side, especially with Chromie's poke, and then you have Zeratul and Genji who both can capitalize on it. So Method needs to be insanely careful, especially on the side of Falstad. Falstad and Li Ming are next to Deckard, the two top targets for that aggression-heavy setup that Dignitas is running here.
Without a doubt, and you're going to see a lot of focus, I'd imagine, around this point of the map, right there in the middle of the Bermuda Triangle. JPL, as well as Arcana, are just going to walk through that brush without a care in the world. The tanky nature that they have, and it's all about picks, all about CC. The first shrines will be up in 25 seconds, but it's going to be very heavily macro-oriented with double globals up against the kill comp.
Yeah, also, when we look at talents, there's a bit of an adjustment happening on JPL's side in particular. He really loves to go for a lot of small variations when he plays with heroes like Muradin, oftentimes even going into the Stormbow stack on level 1. But now he goes into the more traditional third win that we see reflected by most tanks in Europe on Muradin, simply because there is that poke potential from Method, so he can keep himself pretty much alive throughout most of the engages if he just moves back a little bit and then waits until his trade kicks in and allows him to re-engage in the fight.
Speaking of tanks, the exact same can be met for Arcana as well, who has not gone for that Groundbreaker cooldown quest. He's going to go for the extra throwing range, looking to try and really separate the members of Dignitas, break up their 5-man killing crew.
I'm really liking right now, we were seeing Shrimpy especially trying to chase down Poiki a little bit. So whenever the combo is about to be set up, Shrimpy is already moving in position to try and land a little bit more damage here, keeping him low, because they kind of need to apply their pressure themselves, because if Dignitas gets their run of the game here, they will put the pressure on and pick the backline off.
Scroller Silly not going to find any value there, as Nick is going to meet Snitch. Bit of a rough one for Nick. Usually the Genji is a bit of a counter towards the Fausted, but with the W build, with the Lightning Rod, looking to try and even out the scales in that one, not having to burn that Gust as preemptively as you would like otherwise. And once again, we're going to see the increased essence from takedowns as opposed to the minions.
And also when we talk about survivability and just general what we have on the side of Deckard, we currently have again the Potion of Shielding, which is pretty much the same build after the Sapphire that we've seen used by Curson in the previous game. But here comes that aggression again, going onto Nick here, trying to take him down, but the bird still lives. No kill in the game, but it showcases once again how aggressive Dignitas is going to be against these squishy backliners.
And that is what we're going to see coming out of Dignitas all game long. But the potions, as you mentioned, were there from Curson, making sure that Nick does not fall down for a first blood.
I mean, I'm not going to lie here. I really think that especially once Wobby joins these fights, it's going to be incredibly difficult to keep the backliners alive, which is the whole reason why we have this setup here on the side of Dignitas. And again, the aggression kicks in as we are seeing Snitch engage. Zeratul now moving into as Aethero is already burrowing into the middle, trying to get the drag here, trying to get the connect here, attempting to go for Malfurion.
The full 5-man commit as everybody is splitting up, a fight by the shrine itself and a fight up in the bush as well. Everybody getting completely separated from this, and they're not going to be able to find the pick that they need. Still no first blood, but a lot of aggression to start off with, and yeah, you're starting to allude to the fact of what can be achieved when those two top laners come down to play.
And again, the mages going up against each other. Nick also joining in. I like how aggressive both of them are. We haven't seen a single kill, as you just said, but it's just awesome to see how both of them are really trying to play for that first kill and then maybe grab the first Dragon Knight to start with.
Absolutely, it's going to be that tango between top and bottom lane as to who can get those kills, who can get the control, and who can ultimately look to try and open up this map. As level 7 hit at the exact same time, no difference here, nothing separating these teams this early on.
Nice attempt here to allow Nick to go through with the channel. Didn't quite work out yet, but we have Chromie recapturing the bottom shrine. The aggression here in the middle though, as Snitch is attempting to move in. Shrimpy low. And of course we have to mention too that as long as Method doesn't lose heroes here early on, their double global in the late stage game are going to be a huge asset to them. Once that the map opens up and forts are taken down, they can get so much more value out of Falstad and the Hakas. That's going to be fantastic for them if they can make it to that part of the game without getting shut down by Dignitas.
100%. And you can see that Dignitas have been so desperately looking for kills, especially setting it up with JPL and that Stormbolt. Hungry for kills, hungry to try and snowball that lead ahead as you know, that is their main focal point, but as you mentioned, also with the Method side of things, they have that double global. They want to stall things out. They're quite happy to play it like this because then you get into that situation where the map is opened up and you have a lot of different opportunities presented on the cards for you.
In terms of builds, Deckard's now going for Kanai's Cube, so he's really just trying to reduce the damage output of the opponent a little bit, which of course helps extremely against the aggressive Zeratul Genji combo once they start to dive in deep. But even against Chromie, which is absolutely fantastic. Chromie, by the way, not picking her level 8 or respective level 10 just yet. But there's actually an argument to be made for us to see Temporal Loop here to be used.
Well, there's no cleanse, right? That is the major weakness that we've been discussing about Deckard Cain. He's susceptible to burst, and he has no real saving tool, if you will. So without that cleanse, that's a consideration to be made.
Now Snitch needs to be a bit careful here. Thero is also looking if he can connect the drag here. Gets it against Zeratul. Nods against Snitch. Will be still able to move out. They put a bit of pressure on and forces Thero to drop his trade. But at the same time, Temporal Loop has now been chosen and the fight is going on as we have the two mages still clashing against each other down at the bottom of the map.
Yeah, this is carnage across the board. Top lane, mid lane, and bottom lane. Everybody's looking for that fight. Still hungry for that first blood. Such a, I don't want to say it's tense, but it's just neither team looking to give anything away for free.
I'm really liking this. Method was joking earlier and said that they don't quite know how this is going to go against Dignitas, but they seem doubtful that they would really have a respectable chance here, but they're playing extremely well. And I mean, both of the teams are going into level 10 at roughly the same time, with again Method getting some double shrine pressure. Wubi, on the other hand, recaptures the top now, but both of them are now about to look on their heroic abilities, and I feel like that's when we're going to see the real clash start.
100% Nick Aldo. I'm looking to see the big power plays now be unlocked with the Void Prison there. That's definitely a big setup tool that Dignitas will be looking to exploit as Zafiro joins the fray. He comes down to mid lane. All eyes on the middle part of this map now.
Yeah, and also we see Poi currently trying to also get the camp here, but the fight is already starting. Void Prison comes out there, trying to set it up. Stay a while and listen, comes through. A nice cast as Nick keeps everyone alive. JPL is trying to jump out here. The isolation, it's home though, and he's in trouble.
He's in a lot of trouble, and he is going to fall on down as Temporal Loop comes across for what could be a double kill, but it is a 1-for-1. Make that a 1-for-2 as Dignitas finally find the kills they were so hungry after.
Method going for the first kill here and dropping Murden, but then it's a double kill against them that puts him on the back foot. Li Ming falls first, and then we see Garrosh getting taken out as well. Nick, on the other hand, using those globals that we've been highlighting earlier, trying to make sure that there is no Dragonite for Dignitas, just delaying them further to allow Li Ming and Garrosh to join the fight again.
Absolutely, when the respawn timers are this quick, it's all about reducing the bleeding and the effects of what was a lost skirmish after such a long time to get to that point. But Dignitas have to be quite happy with that one. It was a bit of an interesting situation, right, where you see not only the Void Prison, but the Scholar Ceiling leading into the Stay a While and Listen, and just Twilight Dreams, Gust. A lot of ultimates were burnt. Nothing too chaotic happened from it, and then finally those kills were achieved.
Yeah, but now we also have Wormhole here, so there's actually like a lot of kill potential from Zeratul himself now. So he can really just go in and try and get these kills single-handedly. If Chromie can poke beforehand, then that's more or less a guaranteed one. Once again, Ethereal with the attempted drag here, but JPL is also ready. Might be able to drop a quick stun here for Zelia to follow it up with the root. Li Ming and Decker down at the bot lane, recapturing one of the shrines. This is still an all-out fight between the two teams, trying to get the first Dragonite so that they can finally start to work on these turrets and get the extra experience.
Yeah, the focus, generally speaking, is in that bottom lane to try and control not only the mercenaries, but also get that push going on. And for the top lane, it hasn't been too exciting, but Nick is going to use that Gust, making sure that he does not get jumped upon. The wormhole stickiness that you were mentioning before is not going to be a factor here. He gets the world tap. He stays alive.
I mean, to be honest, Nick is really the one player that in this entire game is probably the most scared. They're trying to go for Poik here. They actually miss it.
No.
Great move here by Poik. He's still alive. Stay a while and listen comes out. Here comes the combo attempt. Nick is low. They're going in. Zeratul could actually channel soon, but no. Method is recapturing the bottom shrine, or at least nullifying it for now. JPL gets rooted. Snitch is dashing in, trying to get the kills. Malfurion is down, but this fight isn't over yet.
It's a 4v4 now because we're going to actually see Warby rock up to the fight now. What can he achieve with that cleave? He jumps on in, he's going to get some damage across multiple members, but now he's in a bit of a spot of bother. That's going to be the Void Prism and a sidestep to make sure Shrimpy does not delete him from the map. But Dignitas getting punished by the global factor of Method.
Really nicely done here. And Method forcing the defensive Void Prison out as Wubi was actually attempting to go in. Another big factor was the zoning that we see from Decker. Just all that zone control that comes in makes it oftentimes difficult for Zeratul to engage into these fights where he really wants to participate. If he gets locked down, they can blow him to pieces. But I'm actually amazed at Falstad in particular. I mean, Snitch now taken out as well. Method is doing so well here, but Nick really impresses me. With Falstad against the lineup that are playing against, this is so difficult to keep him alive, and he has done a fantastic job to play safe while still having an impact on the game.
Punishment in the bottom lane as Method do find that kill on towards Snitch. Now they're going to achieve some mercenaries by denying away the Giants from Dignitas. And Dignitas try to do what they could in that top lane to punish. But it is a Pharaoh, and especially with tissue regeneration, he is not going to be an easy target to take on Dan as he goes to look to try and get a target down, but he dies in the process.
Dehaka gets obliterated, the Silence of Malfurion comes through. Here comes again an attempt by Chromie to get the kill, but the Gust is saving them for now. A 1-for-1 trade, but they're fighting underneath a fort. It's slow in HP, but doesn't matter, it still slows, and they're out to get the next kill. Arcana is low, Snitch goes in and he wants him, but he does not confirm the kill.
The power of Arcana there with the Garrosh, the armor. You saw the combo from Chromie coming down, you think it's going to be back-to-back. Both bruises just falling clean sweep, as you would imagine. But no, Garrosh does survive. And Method, I mean, they're looking really good in this series so far.
Yeah, I'm really liking what we're seeing here. This is just a back-to-back slap fight the entire time. One blow after another, and this is fantastic. Dignitas always with the counter kills, but it is still Method that is running the show. They don't have a massive lead, but they definitely have a small one. Whoopi survived with no hit points whatsoever, just barely getting away there. One minion auto attack would have taken him down, but he is able to escape after all. But the Haka is coming in from the side now.
He is indeed, and JPL doesn't have that Dwarven Toss he's already used. So now they're going to look to try and turn his attention, and he gets deleted. Isolation for styling effect. And Method, a 1-level lead now, well on their way to level 16. And we may now start to see some actual map pressure with the respawn timers at 25 seconds at least for their very first dragon.
Method wants to redeem themselves for the Western Clash, but at the same time, they didn't really sound too confident when you talk to them. You get very, very honest and I don't want to say resigned, but you get very grim outlook. I mean, Shrimpy was not the most cheery fella, but another kill comes in. They're just deleting them. Stay away and listen again being used, trying to go for the setup here while they're going for Whoopi. He's down. Zeratul is dead. That's a double kill. They're trying to go for Snitch as well, and they take Genji down.
A grim outlook for them, or a grim outlook for their opponents. A triple kill, and to seal the deal, they get a birthday present in a Dragon Knight as well. I suppose an argument could be made with Dignitas being so dominant for such a long time. There's a lot of pressure on them to perform, and many are saying to them, you know, maybe it's your chance to win the Mid-Season Brawl Fnatic. They look strong by having no pressure on them. Method are doing role swaps. Maybe the same could be applied to them. Maybe they're being a little bit too modest.
Dignitas needs to be careful now. They lost against Tempest, and now in game number 1 against Method, it doesn't look too pretty either. Method with very mellow statements earlier. They want to redeem themselves, but at the same time, you never really get the feeling that they believe in themselves coming in here and contesting games against the toughest opponents they face, but they're doing exactly that. Zeratul goes down. That's 9 kills against 3. Method has the talent advantage, and they're going in for the keep.
That keep is definitely falling, and there was no Void Prism bind you with Whoopi, so whatever he was looking to try and achieve there was just nullified in a second. And map control is just going to be achieved across the board right now. Method dominating, executing, and quite frankly, utilizing that macro sense of play.
Now, to be fair, Chromie just completed her quest, and that's actually a really nice stacking process here for Poik that he's able to accomplish. That's definitely a power spike that is going to help them. They will grab level 16 in just a bit. They lost the keep, which is a blow, but they are not out of this yet. But they definitely have to step it up. Nice sidestep here by Snitch. It still gets taken down, though. Was a great attempt to dodge the ult on the Haka, which he accomplished, but the rest of Method moved in, and that is just a bit too much for Genji to handle.
Now, I would argue a lot of this comes down to, Cal, the fact that Dignitas weren't able to find those kills through levels 1 to 9 to really try and punish Method, and now Method, in those later stages of the game, especially when those respawn timers are that high, can really execute. You saw the global, the ability to fly on up, but hang on a minute, the gust comes across, and that will deny the majority of what Poik was looking to achieve.
Void Prison attempt here. Here comes the silence. Zelia with the Twilight, but there's not enough follow-up to drop Nick. Nick, very impressive in this game, and once again, a good move by him. Dodges the damage here as Polk is trying to go for another kill, but they can't make it happen, and Method is about to take down the fort here, and they are already walking away with a significant talent advantage.
They're going deep, looking to try and jump onto Shrimp. You can see Whoopi in the flank coming across right now. Who's he going to jump into? Blast into that backline, but he just gets hit by the pain stick, and Kirsten says, do not touch me. I can't cleanse, I can't survive burst, but you can't live through what our team has. A triple kill all said and done. Or is it? Looking for a quad right now.
They're going for the 4th. Down goes Chromie, and Method is obliterating Dignitas. They're just absolutely slamming them into the ground, going for the Hulk move, grabbing them by the feet, and then just slapping them from one side of the floor to the next, going full Loki here.
I like that.
Best scene from the Avengers, just saying.
14 kills to 3, and now we're going to see back-to-back dragons here as Shrimpy collects that one. Triple catapults in the bottom lane, and respawn timers, yes, they are handy enough to get Dignitas in this one, but you're getting pressure, and you can see the way that Method is setting this one up. They're looking to get some kills and potentially end this game now.
I mean, honestly, I've been waiting the entire day to cast the last 2 games. What did I get? I get Tempo Storm completely shutting down Ballistics, making it not even look close, and then we head into Dignitas versus Method, and I see Method just toying with Dignitas. We have 15 minutes in, we have 14 kills against 3,
I know.
And Method with a 3-level lead against Dignitas is just going in for the core now.
This is ridiculous. The wind tunnel coming across, and they're onto the core. There's nothing that I can see Dignitas can do to respond to this one. Dragon Blade from Snitch, a desperate attempt, if anything. Stay a while and listen. because Method have come out here to play in game number 1.
Like, what? Method absolutely dominating Dignitas here. Forster didn't even die. You're going up against Genji, against Zeratul, and against Chromie, and Forster didn't die once. 14 kills against Dignitas.
Yeah.
That is insane. I mean, Method comes in here and makes it look easy. We've been talking so much about them switching teams, about especially Arcana, switching into new roles. How much time did you really practice on tanks lately? And now they are just destroying the team that has dominated Europe in 2018.
I think it all just once again comes back to the argument of pressure. And, you know, you're realizing that, hey, we are not going to stick together after this one. So there is no pressure to sort of feel the efforts or the sort of after effects if we do perform poorly at this event. So, you know, Method, they come out firing. Are they surprised? We'll have to wait and see. But for now, we're going to chuck it back to the analyst desk to get their thoughts about game number 1.
That's right, maybe the carefree attitude is the thing. Maybe here, with Method taking that first victory over Team Dignitas. And to be honest, Wolf, making it look easy.
I mean, it was really dominant. I looked at this draft and I thought, when I made my prediction, I thought, I think this draft is stronger.
Yeah.
But I almost regretted after the prediction. I was like, well, I'm voting against Dignitas here. When we know this roster is about to break up, this is not going to be the same roster that we see in the future. And I'm thinking to myself, like, maybe this was a wrong prediction. But like, we go in game, they execute the global composition again well for the 3rd time tonight.
Yep.
And I think Dignitas needs to draft around this now because they're just letting this team run around them.
Jay Howe, I think you do actually have replay for it to even begin things.
Yeah, it's just phenomenal play, right? I mean, just stop right here because this is interesting, right? So Schwimpy's here. Wubby's just kind of hanging out. You know, he's trying to claim this. No big deal. And I think this is one of the plays that really highlights this. Is we'll roll it forward. Schwimpy's going to throw out an arcade orb, but just pause right there. We're going to run it back. We're going to run it back. Because, like, this is one of those moments where the arcane orb goes out, and you're like, wait a minute, what are you aiming at, right? I mean, it's just full on. Hold on. All right, you know what? It doesn't matter. He uses that as the setup. He uses the orb to zone and push back in, and Schwimpy's going to come in and dive in. And that's instantly almost getting the kill. But it sets up everything from here on out because Kirsten has done such a great job throughout this. JPL's just zoning. And the setup from Deckard Kane is going to come in here, and it just really exposes all the weaknesses of that team. And the entire time, Schwimpy is putting on the pressure. And then, as Wolf pointed out, the global that comes in there from Dahaka comes in, and you can see the isolation's going to hit. But it's just all the things that are working well there were just so strong.
Yeah.
By Method. You know, everything that they did, draft-wise, gameplay-wise, it just seems like a cut above right now. And Dignitas' draft, I said it when I made the prediction, I just didn't feel the Genji and Chromie pick. It's something that when we've been at the studio and Dredd and I have been hanging out, like I see this draft, I'm like, this draft never looks good, yet it keeps being run. And then it comes in here and it's like, it's clearly lacking something.
Right.
When you can spend a huge chunk of the game hunting Genji, you're probably in a pretty good position considering he's usually the one rotating around trying to catch people.
I mean, there was even moments where, like, there were multiple moments, in fact, where someone like Shrimpy, for example, on Li Ming, we know in the past that he's a very good Li Ming, etc. But using Wave of Force, being able to land great combos time and time again. I think there was a moment down towards the bottom, right after that, where he used Wave of Force and almost killed Zeratul. There was a moment where Genji had kind of hopped over, but then, like, almost mid-hop, in essence, like, had knocked him up with Wave of Force to get yet another kill and really keep applying the pressure constantly to Dignitas.
The Chromie pick, to me, just didn't show respect of what Method was trying to do. And you have Chromie and you have Zeratul together, and the synergy there is not always very strong against a comp that's very mobile and very able to roam. So I don't know, I felt like Dignitas' comp was a little bit all over the place. Method's comp was very, I have a plan, we're going to rotate, we've got this push. And they look very practiced on Deckard Kane, and this is something teams in this group need to respect. This is no longer, I think, going to be just a Method strategy. I think this is going to expand and become more widespread throughout this tournament.
To talk in defense of the Chromie, that was pretty much the saving grace of Dignitas in the late game. It's basically the only reason they were alive so long, being able to drop the damage and dissuade Method from just moving in and ending the game. But like you guys said, draft just didn't really work out for it.
Right, well, let's check in with the maps, as we need to know where we're going for map number 2.